Hello students, in this video I am going to discuss the functions of entrepreneur. An entrepreneur performs all the necessary functions which are essential from the point of view of expansion of the enterprise. So here it is divided into two parts, primary function and other functions. Entrepreneur performs various primary functions from the stage of starting an enterprise to its success level. An entrepreneur has to prepare the plan or scheme of production, that is, the scale of production, types of goods to be produced, and its quantity. Planning process involves the following steps. Number 1. Scanning of the best suitable idea. एंटरप्रेन्योर के पास एक यूनिक और क्रिएटिव आइडिया होता है, लेकिन उस आइडिया को एक सोशली वाइबल प्रोडक्ट, सोशली एक्सेप्टेबल प्रोडक्ट में कन्वर्ट करना, ये किसी भी एंटरप्रेन्योर के लिए एक डिफिकल्ट और इम्पोर्टेंट टास्क है। और इसके लिए सबसे पहले एंटरप्रेन्योर मार्केट को स्टडी करता है, जस्ट टू नो whether the idea of product or service could be accepted by the market or not. Entrepreneur has to determine market demand to find out the projected cost of the product or services. और इससे एंटरप्रेन्योर को ये भी आइडिया हो जाता है whether the venture is profitable or not. And this type of study in management term can be called as feasibility study. और इस प्रकार की स्टडी को मैनेजमेंट के टर्म में हम फिजिबिलिटी स्टडी कहते हैं, जिसे एक प्रोजेक्ट रिपोर्ट की तरह प्रेजेंट किया जाता है, विच इज नोन एज फिजिबिलिटी प्रोजेक्ट रिपोर्ट. And this project report is very useful for an entrepreneur. Why? Because by this project report, entrepreneur can convince the financial institutions for getting finance, for getting loan to their startup business. Next step is determination of type of business organization. The entrepreneur has to decide the form of the enterprise, whether it should be a sole proprietorship, partnership, joint stock company, or a cooperative society. So, enterprise का legal status क्या होना चाहिए, ये decide करता है entrepreneur. Next, estimation of the capital needed and selection of capital resources. As we all know, finance is regarded as the lifeblood of a business enterprise. Capital is required to install a factory or an industry. It is required at all the stages of business. For example, to buy fixed assets like land and building, machinery, equipment, raw materials. It is not necessary that the entrepreneur should invest his own capital. Entrepreneur अपने ही कैपिटल को इन्वेस्ट करे, ये necessary, ये ज़रूरी नहीं है. The entrepreneur has to raise funds from other sources like IFCI, IDBI, ICICI. ये कुछ इंस्टीट्यूशंस हैं जो एंटरप्रेन्योर को लोन प्रोवाइड करते हैं अंडर वेरियस स्कीम्स लाइक सीड कैपिटल फंड और वेंचर कैपिटल फंड. गवर्नमेंट भी एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप को सपोर्ट करती है, encourage करती है. So, the entrepreneur can take aid from government schemes also. He tries to obtain capital at the lowest possible rate of interest. Next one is selection of the location. This is also one of the area where entrepreneur faces the problem. फैक्ट्री या इंडस्ट्री का लोकेशन कैसा होना चाहिए? So the place should be near the market, railway station, and it should be near the sources of raw material and availability of water, power supply. The selection of the place has an important bearing on the cost of production. Raw material का transportation cost अगर ज़्यादा हो जाए, then this will ultimately increases the cost of production. Next, study of availability of labor force. Different types of labor are required to produce one type of commodity, like skilled labor, semi-skilled labor, or unskilled labor. And if the size of business is large, then entrepreneur has to find competent persons for various functional areas like marketing, managing accounts and finance, technical expertise. Next, study of market and market strategy to be adopted. एक entrepreneur को अपने प्रोडक्ट के लिए मार्केट को एक्सप्लोर करना होता है, मार्केट को डिस्कवर करना होता है. He produce goods in accordance with the customer's taste, which can be known from market trends. और इसके अकॉर्डिंग वो अपनी मार्केटिंग स्ट्रैटेजीज को चूज करता है जो उसके लिए फेवरेबल हो. Next, studying the government rules, regulations and policies. Every type of business comes with some legal applications. The entrepreneur need to be take care of acquiring certain licenses. These licenses vary according to the nature of the business. The most common license that is applicable to every business is the Shop and Establishment Act. It is applicable to every business where trade, business or profession is carried out. Suppose you want to establish a restaurant, then you may require licenses like Food Safety License, Prevention of Food Alteration Act, and so on. Under primary function, next function is organization. Entrepreneurs give shape to their ideas, create a business plan, pull resources, and organize things in the best possible manner. Efficient expansion and growth of the enterprise largely depends on the efficiency of the organizational network employed. It means people working in an organization and monitored by the entrepreneur. Next function, decision making. An entrepreneur is to determine what to produce, how much to produce, where to produce, how to sell. Moreover, he is to decide the scale of production. Arthur H. Cole has described the entrepreneur as a decision maker. As a decision maker, he takes various decisions regarding following matters. Number 1, determination of the business objectives of the enterprise. Number 2, decision regarding procurement of machine, material, men, money and market. Number 3, decision regarding requisition of efficient technology and new equipments. Number 4, decision regarding development of a market for the product. And the last one is maintenance of good relations with public authorities and with society at large. So, the entrepreneur has to make vital business decisions relating to the purchase of productive factors and to the sale of the finished goods or services. Next, risk bearing and uncertainty bearing. An entrepreneur undertakes the responsibility for loss that may arise due to unforeseen contingencies in future. So basically there are two kinds of risk which he has to face. First one is measurable and insurable risk. वो रिस्क जिसे हम पहले से मेजर कर सकते हैं और उसके अकॉर्डिंग हम उसे इंश्योर भी कर सकते हैं, लाइक रिस्क ऑफ फायर, लॉस ऑफ गुड्स इन ट्रांजिट. सेकेंड, कुछ रिस्क ऐसे भी हैं जिसे हम पहले से इंश्योर नहीं कर सकते हैं बिकॉज देयर प्रोबेबिलिटी कैन नॉट बी कैलकुलेटेड एक्यूरेटली, जिसे हम अनसर्टेनिटी भी कहते हैं, लाइक कंपैटिटिव रिस्क, टेक्निकल रिस्क. नेक्स्ट फंक्शन, मैनेजमेंट. द मैनेजमेंट with reference to entrepreneur stands for not only the working of the venture but also managing of the day-to-day problems. It includes future expansion and policies in the long run. And the last one is innovation. Innovation implies doing of new things or doing of things that are already being done in a new way. This point has been discussed earlier, so moving ahead. Beside the above functions, the entrepreneur has to perform many other activities at the latter stage, like diversification of production, expansion of the enterprise, maintaining cordial employer-employee relations, tackling of labor problems, coordination with outside agencies.